Good morning, everybody. So you can see my shared screen. So let's start. And I'm staying here. So my name is Raquel Silva. That much you already know. I am a program manager for Cisco. In my previous role, I was an enterprise coach for JP Morgan Chase. So I have a career where most of my time is deal with people and culture. And, one of the things that we all wish is that our organization, our teams, we continue evolving and growing and make it better, and our teams start and continue to grow. So this is why a culture of continuous improvement and innovation is so important. So this will not just be me talking, even though I will be doing most of the talking. I don't know how willing are you to talk to me. Nonetheless, I have a few polls that I would kindly ask you to use the chat and give me your thoughts in there. So the first one is, which of these statements most feels the most true in your organization? A, we want innovation, but in the end of the day, we reward stability. People have permission to innovate, but they don't. Or we collect a lot of feedback, but nothing changes. And D, leaders want change, but the system is blocking it. Which one of these? You can use the chat. Which A, B, C, or D, which one of these is most related to you? So I see 2 C's, a lot of feedback, but nothing changes. People say they want to change, but no. Yeah. For now, it's more between C and D. We all do retrospectives, we all do surveys, we collect a lot of feedback. People say we need to change this new AI era. We need to experiment, we need to build new things. But in the end of the day, it seems like most of it stands still. So I'm not the only one feeling this. So why does that happen? Why does everybody want innovation and continuous improvement, and the people do experiments, and things keep going and staying the same? So this, I like to call it the innovation paradox. So leadership says we need more innovation, but on the other hand, are they actually foster innovation? Are we looking to the bigger system? Do we reward experimentation? Do we reward people that actually innovate? Or are we measuring predictability, efficiency? And when someone goes overboard, explains something, are we punishing? Especially if they learn while they were trying to do some experiment. Did you ever thought about it? Even everybody wants to say, and we do retrospectives and we do experiments. We say we do, okay? The system around us is designed to reward predictability. How many of you have metrics to measure innovation? How many of you have metrics to measure productivity? We have metrics to measure productivity and innovation. I have at some extent. If you want to share, I would be happy to hear. Because I guess if you want, I'm not putting you on the spotlight, so don't be me talking the whole time.
No worries. So yes, we were talking about experiments and measuring about things in a way. Since obviously we are going at certain pace, and everyone in the organization is busy by their own roles and responsibilities. But up to some extent, we should be aligned in one goal. Our goal should be one, right? directly or indirectly. Whether how it doesn't matter what the hierarchy is or what you guys are doing, but in the end, it's the organization that matters. So we definitely, I what prefer, I don't know that I don't care about results, whether I'll get results or not, but I do prefer to experiment things, somehow where while experimenting only I will be able to know that whether I'm getting results or not. But definitely not, if I won't get 100%, but I'll get at least 1% or 2% that can help me to access or plan things for further way.
Thank you, Arpit. Thank you very much. So, but that is some of the things we feel right now. And thank you for sharing that. Because even though we hear a lot about innovation, most of the system and some brave people push the boundaries for actually do some innovation and continuous improvement. Because the system actually is designed to push it back. We measure a lot of things, but we don't measure how many experiments did we do. What did we learn? So where are we with this? So let me show you what we're gonna be talking a little bit today. Of course, this is 1 hour long. And if you are willing to stay a little bit more with me, I will get to the end of it. So today's journey is the permission tab. So why psychological safety plays an important role in innovation. Are we having a feedback illusion? And then we have control. What is leading indicators and what need we to measure? And then, of course, I'm not exception. Everybody talks about AI. So here you have a little bit about AI as well. If you are not familiar with creating prompts, so I generated a file with some prompts to create some innovation and experimentation in your teams, and I will give you that at some point during the training. I hope then you can enjoy it because, AI is our best friend, at least mine. It enables me to do more of what I love and less of boring stuff. And I hope I can give you a little bit of that so we can all together be more productive, more innovative, and AI does the boring work for us. So this is a system thinking toolkit. I like to call it like that. So let's move on. This is where we're gonna go today. So psychological safety, the permission trap. So we talk about psychological safety a lot. What is psychological safety? It's as saying, yes, team, you need to innovate. You need to create new experiments. How are you innovating in your day job? What are you learning? And then in our metrics, we have velocity, churn. And if someone is working on something that is not visible for everybody because they are doing some research, someone will ask, oh, what are you working on? So I give my team permission to take risks. It's okay for them to fail, is it? This psychological safety doesn't change behaviors. As a leader, myself, if they don't see me encourage that, or my leadership encourage that at all the extent, rewarding that having permission, I told you so, you can do that, won't change behaviors. Is probably, and most of it, driven by example. As a leader, we need to work with our teams, lead by example, taking risks together, putting that in front of us, because the words won't change behaviors, right? When the organization itself actually rewards that. How many patterns that your organization filed for discovery and innovation? Are you having anyone that says, oh, look, during this weekend, and especially in IT. I'm going to give you an example. I was working in my previous job, was when AI ML was popping. So my colleague and I, we decided that we're going to make product managers' life easier. So we took our time, we designed, and now create an agent is not that difficult. An AI agent, you get Langsmith, you get a tool, you get ChatGPT paid, and with a little farag, you create an agent, right? Not that difficult. But when it started, like 1 year and 1.5 years ago, no, it was not that easy. So what we did, we created a pseudo agent that would connect to Jira API. They will tell the epic the description of the epic, and we will pre-populate headlines and some of the acceptance criteria of some of their stories. We saved literally hours of work because the difficult thing for our product managers was breaking the epics, as they have the description and they could talk natural language, and that would start to break it down for them. They could then just refine it with the team with having all of that time. We saved them a lot of time. And it was just not me. I'm not the smartest person in the room. The first time we kind of stumbled, we got bad feedback. People say this is awesome, but this is, we do this doesn't break this. So we went, we asked for help, someone come and help. And in the end of the day, we end up in the town hall showing everybody what we just achieved. How proud were we? Right? And that is when the system rewards someone. We didn't get it perfect, but we were encouraged to continue to pursue that because the business value that we were bringing was real business value. And this is just an example that is a first-person example, but there is a lot of examples where people do amazing things when we just encourage them to do so. So this is words doesn't matter. It's the example that actually makes the change. So there are some questions that we should ask ourselves. What does my system actually rewards? People need permission, don't they? If they want to do something a little bit outside of the boundaries, they do need permission. Because otherwise, you can do whatever as long as this, you can do it on your own time. And then there is more to it, right? We can take risks. Can we? So here we have conversation on the chat. Think about a recent situation where you gave your team or your people around you or yourself included permission to do something innovative. The idea is thinking when you gave your team permission or you were given permission to do something innovative. How were you rewarded? How could that be more appealing to you, that message, or to your team? How could we make the difference? You can use the chat. I have the chat open, so if any of you, I know you're thinking, but at any given point in time, you can always raise your physical hand or your virtual hand and ask a question, okay? What could be something that could be done instead of just words? So while you're still thinking, I'm gonna give you, this here is a teaser, most of it focal. In Cal, we talk about how can we map decision and authority across the organization, and how can we actually, what would it take to get people feeling empowered? annual performing rates not based on the same criteria, yeah. Having a bit for innovation, wouldn't that be good? What did you learn new? As a work, we work as a service-based organization, so as far as I remember, I asked the team to prepare a chapter each from a book which was relating to coding, but no one showed up, no active response. Yeah. As it's said, when we give them permission and they're like, this I'm taking, I would not meet the number of, my velocity will go down because otherwise I need to do it outside of the work. Anyone else? I can tell you one thing. This is a success story because years ago, when COVID started, we were all made remote, and all of that collaboration in the office, lunch and learn, stuff like that went all out of the window. And we had a very serious number of interns coming in, and they had no contact with anyone. So we decided to help them with something that was every Friday. When not was we had 1 hour booked, but usually it didn't need so much. So any one of them need to read something or bring something to us that was interesting, an article, a new technology, a video, something, and bring that and explain that to us. Why was that important? How can we use that at work? That started inside of the team so they can get a little bit more exposure, and they would pair up with someone more senior for that. And so we can actually get them out of that little bit they had where they come and present. That actually was first was within the team, then extend to our sister teams. And at any given point in time, we were having every Friday 45 minutes where we all came together, saw someone, usually the junior members helping by a senior member, presenting something they were innovation or something that was really interesting and could be used probably to improve our system or to improve what we were doing. And that actually stick along. And this is one of many. So the other one is the feedback illusion. And we already talked a little bit about that in the beginning, is how much data do we connect? How many feedback surveys do we send out? How much metrics, how much retros do we do? How much of that actually leads into change? How much that is bringing change to your organization? Or, and this is talking from personal experience, when you say you're going to do retrospective, you can see some people rolling their eyes on you. I can surely tell you that happened to me more times than I would like to count. Oh, not again. We do this. Nothing changes. Why are we wasting our time here? Why are we doing these surveys? They never hear what we say. Thank you, Chiquita. Both teams are afraid to use AI tools. Yeah, and writing emails for customers would be something that AI can read, and you try it on your own emails on your phone. That bloody thing is amazing. It reads the email and is so polite. Thank you for your email. I hope you're doing well. Here you have your answer. Talk to you soon. Thank you. I love it, but it's so true. Thank you so much for sharing that. And these feedback loops, and this is something that we probably need all to think about, is we collect all of that. So we create people don't believe that something gonna change unless they see someone taking the lead on that, someone acting different, bringing that. Just words won't change it anymore. Even as much as we want, what our senior leadership is doing, what are you doing? I can then, if you want, I can tell you the story a little bit more detailed in the end. Is that okay, Vina? So this is something we create the feedback. We do retrospectives, we do surveys, we do everything. We have our ENPS. I have my manager surveys where people say that I'm great, that I'm awesome. Am I? Oh, it's just, I don't care. It's something that is really things that we really need to think about. How can we actually create this trust? How can we tip the scales on the other side? When you do your OKRs or KPIs, do you have an innovation one? How do you measure it? So this is when we see this is kind of a loop. We say, we don't measure, we don't foster, and we keep saying. And we keep collecting data, and we keep saying we need to innovate. We need this, we need that. Oh, we got in our retrospectives, and we come to a point where our retrospectives even starts to have always the same answers. They know what they do. They know what they need to say. Complaining. Oh, because, we were needing this permission. Oh, we depending on that team. Oh, we deliver that. Yay. Food for thought. Poll number 2. When you run retrospectives or collect feedback, what happened most often? A, submissions come up again and again. Nothing changes. We identify actions, but they die in there. People are honest in the moment, but nothing happens. And D, we track it, but we don't actually know if it improves things. A, B, C, or D? Which one resonates more with you? C, D. Ah, I'm nailing it. The first two in the other one was like, no. And I guess this one, the first two, no one loves it. Just the second two. C, D, A, and C. Okay, thank you. Some issues come up as repeatedly. A and C, nothing changes. We actually, people are honest. We say, oh, we need to do this, we need to do that. But in the end of the day, sometimes some people create little stories, put it on the backlog for the next sprint. When you start the next retrospective, do you review the experiments you run? Oh, guys, last sprint, last retrospective, we had this, and this. How did that went? What changed? One of the things I like to ask is, how do we know that things are getting better? Or different at least? How do we measure change? Because if we have an action towards something, this ties together with what I was saying you before. Yeah, if it repeats, it isn't working. That's so true. But what are we doing about that? Years ago, I had a team. They were an amazing group of people. But, when you talk to people and they are apathy state, it's like, yeah, tell us what to do. What is the sprint goal? What we need to do? How many stories we need to do? I joined them. I joined the group because the group was falling down in what they need to deliver. And it was really, really odd because they seem so much good people, so knowledgeable. But so one of the things, I had a first initial conversation with them when I joined. Of course, I was not an outsider for that group. I came to talk to them. I met them all in a one-to-one setting. And this group was a group around 40 people. We had 4 teams, 3 teams, and the rest was doers, was sayers. But this one of the teams I remember clearly, I talked with them, and one of the ladies told me, there is one thing you should think about. You're talking with us, which is fine. And I love that. Now, are you working Friday until what time? I was like, I don't know, 5, 6-ish. Did you ever try work a Friday until 11 p.m.? And I was like, oh, crap. Unless the house is on fire, production is burning, I don't believe we do that. So that is the reality for most of these 2 teams. Some of us are moms, some of us are dads, and not even in Friday, we have a free night. So just think about that before go around and do funny things. And don't come around with funny retrospectives for the team, because we have plenty of that. And I was like, I appreciate your honesty. I get the lady was so fed up that she just, you hear news, so here you have it, do whatever. And remember one thing, to remove meetings from Fridays was a challenge. Because here in US, we were having our meetings at 9 a.m. Who cares, right? Our dear colleagues for those 2 teams, because the other teams were mixed. The one team was full US, the other team was mixed between US and UK, and the other one is UK and APAC, and the one was full APAC. So we could have people around the clock. But the thing is, creating awareness for how much that was hurting people was very challenging. I decided to book a meeting on Friday, 6 p.m. Was not that late, okay? You should see how much people turn at me. You can't do that. And on a Friday, did you lose your crap? Like, no, I did not. But I rest assure you that Friday at 6, I'll be here waiting for you all, because I want this solved before Monday morning. I want to know, I need the mind map done before Monday morning. Why can't we do it Monday morning? Because Monday morning, no one has time for it. I want to do it on Friday. Can we do it early? No. After a brief discussion on that, I told them, look, I don't need to be here on Friday at 6, but do our teams need? How much do we solve on the Friday evening, making people stay here until 8, 9, 10 p.m.? Even the guys in UK, they stay way beyond working hours, often on Thursdays and Fridays. What is the business benefit we get out of that? So I was told that I need to prove, if I stop meetings on Fridays, Friday all day, no meetings, what would be the business results of it? So I did. They didn't have metrics around the team, but I can tell you one thing. The productivity of the team after 3 weeks, before that you can't measure things. After 3 weeks of not having meetings on Fridays, the productivity went really up. And when the team told us that there was ways they could actually improve some of the work done, instead of saying so late, every day, I can tell you one thing. The productivity of the team, actually, the number of bugs reduced, the SLA for some support calls went up, and the team happiness, that is a fluff metric, as people say, as we could see our productivity went up, the team happiness went up. I came from a team who couldn't care less to a team that was engaged. And that makes completely different. So this is experiment, and I'm talking just about, and they had another agreement that we could get afterwards, or give them some time to work. They could choose one thing they want to see different in what they're working. And every month we had an innovation forum, and we had 1-2 people that was proposing a solution to the system we have. And what would be the benefits of improving that? And we start to measure that on that group and completely change the way the group was working, and completely start to change parts of the technology and the operating system, the technology stack they were using. So, yeah, but took someone or took something to actually start to change and measure it, because the system will go against me. If I cannot prove my words, I won't go fast. So, and innovation must be rewarded, not just wanted. So, this is for you, and this is, you can put it on the chat or just think about that. Oh, thank you. Yes. Thank you, Chiquita and Millie. Yeah. So, one thing that your organization optimizes for. What are we optimizing our organization for? Targets, rates, release schedules, approval process, risk avoidance, predictable roadmaps. What do we want the most in our organization? Any of these, or do you have something more? Quick growth. How do we measure growth? Don't need to answer it. I'm not putting you on the spot. If you know the answer, you can. This is a rhetorical question unless you do wish to answer. Yeah, this is just a teaser. I'm going to give you the slides after, so just don't bother with it. Measuring it is the problem. Monthly KPIs, tracking, reporting, yeah, wouldn't we all? And when we don't have accurate metrics, I saw magic things happen every now and then. People can do metrics like this. Did you ever saw that? People saying, oh, we deliver this. And I was like, oh, we have this and this and this, and we achieve that. And when you go to see under the metrics, what is in there? So most organizations measure outcomes, things they deliver. This is what they measure. Team satisfaction, cycle time, deployment frequency. How do we measure culture? And when we push team to deliver fast, are we measuring quality? What is the impact that has in our overall product? How are people asking things? Do they come to you? There is a book called Turn the Ship Around. Do people come, may I do this, or I intend to do this, or I intend to do that? Oh, we could do this, but these are signs that sometimes something in our organization is not right. So when we see this, because this is patterns of behavior, and this is what, as leaders, we should be well aware so we can start to break these patterns. And great leaders have systemic thinking. We can think beyond just what is here. Often, people try to patch what they see, but the problem is beyond and way deeper in the system. Even if we try to move things in the surface, they say that culture, it's strategy for breakfast. no matter how good is my strategy here, if my culture doesn't come along, if my culture doesn't reward that, my strategy might be great, but most likely won't work. So this is where do you see patterns happening? And this is everything comes back to systemic thinking. You can live. So this is where I would like you to reflect about it. How can I know? How can I become a system thinking? What do I need to actually tip the scales in my organization? Because be a good leader is about someone also be a role model. Otherwise, we are just one. I would like my team to do this. I would like my team to do that. But if I'm not bold enough, if I don't lead by example, if I don't have anything that rewards that, if I can't measure, I'm a person that I'm not a math person, but there is one thing that I know is I cannot improve what I can't measure. How do I know that I'm moving forward if I cannot measure that difference? An individual won't change. Having a great mindset won't change. Having the strength and the will won't change, because in the end of the day, what happens is if someone is actually an innovator, is in your organization or mine per se, and my organization doesn't foster that, and they feel the smartest person in the room, get bored, go elsewhere. What stays in my organization? What stays with me? The ones that are just comfortable with that. Not the smart ones, not the brilliant ones. I don't know if you know Sir, the guy from Version, Richard Branson. He has a very good politic in terms of learning inside of their organizations. And you see that Virgin is well known by innovation. And in an interview years ago, someone asked them, there is a policy for innovation and training inside of your organizations. Why do you spend so much money in people? And if they leave? And the question is sad, it took to me until today. It's like, and if I don't train them, if I don't grow them and they stay? And I was like, that's probably the best question I ever saw, the best answer I saw someone. And we know most of the things that is very, very difficult. So this is where what can AI can do for you. AI can help you to recognize patterns, can help you to suggest experiments, create conversation starts. What it can do is, like I say, I don't do miracles. I don't have a crystal ball. God doesn't do product management. So, same with you and AI. AI can tell you what to do, can't do it for you. It can help you to spark behaviors, can help you to brainstorm ideas. Remember, what AI has that we don't have? Access and fast to read so much information that we didn't have the time yet. So this is where it can help you to move forward. So I'm gonna drop in the chat or try to. If you cannot download it in the chat, don't worry. I'm going to sending the presentation and the tool I'm asking simply access to share it with you by email, okay? If you can't download it, don't stress. You will receive the presentation and the toolkit, okay? So what I will give you is a retro question generator. Create questions that uncover systemic issues, not just team happiness. Share your insights there. You don't need, we all have anti-policies and security and what you can share and cannot share with AI. Most of us have internal chatbots that they are there and you can talk freely with them. So take your pick. Anonymize data and give it to AI that is public, whatever. Experiment. Create a framework for experiment and measuring it. And if we ask just a difference on a question, if I come to you and say, how was your day? And you just answer, oh, it was great, wasn't it? How did you like this webinar? Oh, it was cool. If I ask you, what did you learn? If I ask you, what was the highlight of your day? Wouldn't that be better questions than the questions we ask for chit chat? So that is where we can start to learn those questions. So a question upgrade is another one that is there. So this is things that I wish, if you want to come to call, some of the things we will gonna bring, and is understanding how to use some frameworks to drive some of the differences. How can we make some of frameworks? We will try to have some other tools that will help you. Here is, so this is, let me copy the link. If you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, please feel free to do so. I will be happy to connect with you and answer further questions. So there are two, I have two links for you. One is my LinkedIn profile, and that is actually in the presentation. And the other one is simply access. Come on. That is my LinkedIn profile. This is simply access, and simply access my schedule. And if you like this this feedback, if you like this webinar, there is a Trustpilot link in the bottom that you can use to give feedback in this. So thank you very much. And if you have any questions, I'm here. Thank you for bearing with me a little bit longer. This was timed for 1 hour. I didn't went very far than 1 hour. So thank you so much for bearing with me. I'm here. I can stay a little bit more if someone has some questions or want to chat a little bit. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Someone asked me a question and I lost it in the chat. I said, I'm going to answer that, not now. Oh, someone asked me about something that I'll be using AI tools to connect. Now, was about what I did to connect to Agile APIs and stuff. So, you know, sometimes if we are doing, I don't know if the person still's here, but I can still answer. When, and probably you see that now Atlassian has Rovo, that the Rovo makes like if I had one of those 2 years ago, 3 years ago, yeah, now we need to be smarter and clever to bring something new. Rovo is actually would help with that. So with breaking down stories and all of that, but what we did, and still is very valid depending on your ecosystem, if you do have, so to communicate with Atlassian and Jira, you need to communicate via API. Okay, most of the things you cannot do via anything else. So we built, and that was part was the idea, part was part that I could do, but then the hard code was my dear friend and another colleague that did for me. I don't write code for 15 years now, so it won't be a pretty sight to see. Even though vibe coding is a thing, I might get to do some rubbish in there, but yeah, it was not the thing at the time. So what they did is we create a chatbot, we create a window, kind of a chatbot, where we would put what was the description of the epic, it was a pretty comprehensive description about what was the feature, what you need to have, how did you know, and after that, because those discussions often happen on chat conversations or happen over a meeting or something like that, and mostly we didn't actually write all of that. We just summarized some of the discussions we had, and by that time AI already summarized some of the meetings as well as it does now. So we actually grab that and we break that down in small stories, and then we automatically create those stories in Jira in our project under that epic. That was it. It was a challenge because we need to prove that would actually impact people's life. Was not, you think that even people wanted to do things in their own time for free would be easy? It was not, because they wouldn't allow us to, we could test that, but they wouldn't allow us to make that live inside of the organization until we had to prove our value there. Thank you guys very, very much. I appreciate you being all here. Look out to your emails. I know you to sign up for this, you need to leave your emails. I'm gonna send you the presentation, and I'm gonna send you the AI toolkit that I dropped in the chat. If you don't have any more questions, thank you very much for coming, and I will be seeing you guys around, hopefully. And if you want to sign up for Cal, Simply Axis will probably contact you. You can answer back to the email you're gonna get with this. You can use the links. Thank you very, very much for that.